Hello.
Fighting games.
Fighting games.
It's time for fighting games.
Fighting games. Uh-oh. It's one of those weeks. I mean, hey,
Uh-oh.
this year
Uh
only
oh.
only one. Only one in a like the only one dreaded comment about, "Oh no. I can't I wonder what it's going to be about this week." So
Oh, because those people all died.
just skeletons
They
skeletons
all
with
they all drank their poison and died.
with headphones on.
They said, I can't do it another week. I can't. I literally
Damn.
can't. Here I
Damn.
go, just like Socrates did.
I mean, I wish again in an alternate reality somewhere, like it's just this, but for like racing games or something. Just going in
Mhm.
hard every time there's a. Is there a big racing
What
game
to
championship?
talk about?
Huh? I mean I Rocket League is pretty fun.
Racing game.
Yeah,
That's just
it's you in a
soccer.
car. Yeah, yeah.
If
Um,
you wait, Woolie, if you in a car is your definition of racing games, then genres have just all died.
nah,
That is too broad.
No, what I want to see, the numbers I need the metrics on people who are like, I don't know what they're talking about and stuff. But it's like that was that way like 5 years ago. But now it's like, oh, I've played a little bit. And then a little further, it's like, oh, actually, I'm messing but with buttons and I'm playing in modern. We're like, I need to know how many people went from, I don't want to hear this shit to converts. I need data so that I can know that the shit I'm doing is working.
Mm,
Or is it just for every one we get, there's one that walks away, and so it just stays in perpetual flux.
I would say that in our audience that we are personally reaching via our streams and the podcast, it would be unlikely if they had somehow reached this point without going, maybe I should try fighting games.
Let's see what they're on about. I'll tell
I
you.
feel like it would be ridiculous that they got all the way here and then went, you know what? Yeah, America won this time? Yeah, all right. USA, USA.
Then there is of course, yeah, there certainly are those who are just like, actually I like them less now. I hear about it too much, which God bless. But there's definitely one thing's for sure is every year at EVO, more and more people are like, yo, what's up? Here because of gotten into fisticuffs and then
Hmm.
watch the streams, messed around, pressed buttons, and I'm here to spectate or I'm here to play, and that's fun to always see that number go up and more and more each time. But like the new thing as well. So last couple of years, it's been an increasing amount of people that are just like, yeah, I'm here to spectate. I just want to watch, and I love this shit,
Hmm.
and it's at the highest it's ever been now. But with that, some of the folks that were those people a couple years ago are now getting higher and higher in the brackets and like
Hmm.
matches on stream and getting further along and stuff. So it's like, oh shit, like folks that were like, so someone rocking a Get Into Fighting game shirt popping up on stream is becoming less and less of a rare occurrence, and that's super cool. It's fun to see that like folks that are able to like get out of pools and fucking go the distance,
I
um
feel like I
coming
saw
from that history.
a Reddit post just yesterday that was like, "Hey, Woolie, thanks a lot. I started at Iron and now I'm in Master," and it's Luke. His screenshot with Luke
Awesome.
getting into Master rank, and I'm like, "Bro, I'm not even in fucking Master
That's
rank.
awesome.
Holy shit!"
Yeah, and again, like there was like quite a few people I spoke to that were like, yeah, man, like been watching and getting in, made it to round two, made it past that point, and like different games as well, getting different placements. Hell, like Combo Breaker, I think I was talking about the literally DNF, the guy who won, and like a bunch of people in all these other brackets were just like going all the way from watching this dumb shit and getting into it. So it's working. That's good. That's exciting. It's fun. I love it. Evo, my voice is
Oh,
back, thankfully. I know it sounded like death not too long ago, and people were very concerned when I jumped on Max's stream for 2 seconds, but that was a temporary state due to the events of the night before.
Was that floor yelling?
That was floor
Was
yelling.
that from hooting and hollering?
That was from, if you can probably go and hear the exact moments that my voice got destroyed if you go back to the Third Strike finals. Because yeah, like there's literally, I mean, I wish there was like I wish we got it on camera, but it's literally me and Reggie backs to the stage yelling at the crowd, fighting against the entire arena. It was so sick. But I suppose we can start at the beginning.
So I suppose the beginning is the question I ask every year, which is, what freak beast did they set you up in pools to die on this year?
Oh, well, nothing of note. Nothing
Really?
of note. Just my own unpracticing ineptitude, followed by back-to-back JPs. A JP on either side just used their stick to shove me under the water and drown my ass. And that was that, you know?
JP is like such a fun archetype because like he's not the best character in the game. I mean, like Cammy won this time and it was Blanca last, whatever, right? But I'm like, fuck him though. Fuck him and fuck JP players.
No,
fuck him.
it was funny because we were like having a whole discussion about it, because it's like a lot of people that were being carried by JP switched off when the nerfs came, but fundamentally a lot of those nerfs were things that were like that ridiculous counter getting not destroyed, but just it's not the same level of advantage. The inability for him to make meter as easily as he could before, and then buttons getting like more hittable essentially.
Yeah, but I didn't sign up. I didn't sit down to play Street Fighter today so I could play Blaze Blue Calamity Trigger.
There you go. But the fundamental way the character still works when he gets in the car and hits the gas is he's gonna sit there and he's gonna fucking toss shit at you, and that doesn't change. So that's still just as annoying as ever to deal with. And I just got hit with it one right into the other, and I was like, oh, it's fucking JP weekend. All right,
man, this is a bad matchup for my brain. Oh, thank God. Oh, hopefully the next. Oh, it's the same fucking matchup. Oh, great. Oh, awesome.
I mean, all I could do is laugh. Like literally when I saw him pop up the second time, I'm just like, yeah, okay, like sure, man, But all things considered, that was me just getting sticked into the dirt. Reggie, Chipotle champ, of course, got his Chipotle card and made it pretty far into round 2 of the. So out of his pools, you move into round 2 is the second part of the bracket. Won 3 matches in that, and then lost. Really just, again, plays really tight and awesome. And the thing with EVO, of course, is just like you're hitting people at every degree of preparation and every degree of possible skill. You're gonna find someone along your line somewhere in there, and there's always just like, how comfortable are you in high pressure environments, and different settings. Like pools are kind of like a quiet thing. Everyone's not a quiet, but everyone's around doing their thing. Sometimes friends are around and stuff. But like when you go to like day 2 is when you're going to have the much bigger crowds, because it's like anytime any notable American or Japanese player is around and they have a giant crowd around them, that might be the person you're up against next, or that might be happening in your pool. You have to get way and more ready for like playing in that sort of, pop-off tournament setting and have the ability to just zone out what's happening around you. And if you're...
What is your personal fortitude dealing with the situation of crowd, name, influence,
everything,
and the reality that someone is pissing their pants in one of the spectator chairs behind you? Floating in.
That shit's disgusting, dude. That shit's disgusting.
Street Fighter's making it. It's getting big, dude. It's getting big like card games.
Fucking gross. I hate that turned out to actually be a thing. Because the first thing was like, oh, look at these shit stains on the chairs. Like that wasn't.
I was like, actually, that's from a Magic tournament.
And then it's like, no, but then here's this picture of piss on the chair, and it's like, yeah, that happened, and it's like, anyway.
Just washing in it.
I mean, I don't know if I'm pretty sure I have the how we got here type of thing of that, but I mean we can get into that.
This is Street Fighter 4's fault somehow.
I think the like the side bit with that is like the Sunday venue packed situation was it was rough, and I think like a lot of what was set up was like pretty much perfect, but like they had a capacity problem there. And
yeah, I heard that some people were stuck outside for some nonsense.
Okay, so like the way this works, because Rick's been doing a fucking unbelievable job on everything, and I think this is probably like the biggest stumbling block that he's hit with the stuff he's been running so far. CB's been fucking immaculate, and EVO's been great. The thing with last year was the last couple of years. EVO moved over to Mandalay Bay, right? It was always at different casinos and like ballrooms inside of resorts and stuff at Vegas. So from when I first started going, there was like Caesar's Palace. They took out the top room there. It was big. They moved over to, they were at the Wynn at one point, etc. And then I think they had like a multi-year contract or so for a while to be at Mandalay Bay, which has a pretty big event space. And then separate from that, there's the Mandalay Bay, like UFC arena, the thing I always talk about, where it's like a giant thing in the round, right? So I think basically what happens is that they hit capacity on the actual space where the tournament is happening, where the vendors and the setups are, where people are playing for Friday and Saturday, and then the Sunday booth, the Sunday event arena can take way more people than the actual event space can. So the tickets were sold separately, and they kind of like were always like they didn't fill out that space because whatever they were hitting at capacity here would be more or less what you'd expect to get on Sunday.
Right.
So it's kind of like, it sucks to be able to not be able to, like, you could do more here. Here you're walled off, and you've already like the last couple of years where they, we're talking about like 12,000, 14, like there's numbers going up with stuff every year. If you hit capacity in your venue and you know that the popularity is going to increase and more people are going to come to not just participate but spectate next year, you have to find a way to open that space up, right? So
yeah, they have to add more space, get a bigger space, or limit capacity.
Exactly. So as far as the spectating on Sunday goes, the main space that they had could hold more. But it was also something where it was a separate ticket. Not everybody, was like able to get that ticket. In some cases, if they waited too long and stuff like that. But the other part being hitting that capacity was like, that's not great, right? So what they basically did was they moved to the one bigger place that you can, which is, as far as I understand, the largest convention center in America, the Las Vegas Convention Center. It's the only step up for the capacity to go, right, and it's a fucking it's a Goliath of a venue, because I mean, for our scale, think of like our Palais de Congrès, which is our Montreal Convention Center, and then imagine, and just imagine like the tripling that over and on it, like on its length in multiple times, and then what they more or less did was they had the first third as the area where all the booths were set up, where you could walk around. It's the fighting game con is happening in the first third. Yeah, like all the things to go play, bring your own setups, etc. All the arcades are over there, and you can just shop, play, have fun. The second third was where the brackets were running, and they just had like all the scheduled events that were, from all the pools that had to go through were just in that second space. And then on the edges of that space were the main stages for each game, whenever they had like a stream running or whenever there was like a big top 24 match or something that was on those. And then the third space was the finals arena that was not open on Friday, that opened up Saturday and Sunday for the big crazy EVO stage where all the finals would happen. So with that setup, it allowed each of these spaces to have enough people to flow, move through, and do what they need to do. Bathrooms on all sides and everything all set up. The arena that they more or less built, my understanding is that it had a capacity of about 10K, and then there was 10K or so like players, and then there was another 10K or so spectators. Right.
That's a lot, man.
So the idea was that there's going to be a capacity for the stage, and then all the setups where the pools are going to be and all the screens in there become a stream watching space where you can watch the event from, in the round over there. And then that's also where like Max had his live watch thing, where because he was up in the Max Tower,
Right.
looking down, like Tachibana, wiping the screens off for 9 seconds. But then they came down on finals day and they were having it there. So you could go watch the Max stream, for example, of him watching it, or any of the others were streaming it. So essentially you would be able to go into the arena or come out to the back area. There was room for everyone if you were in those two areas. And then what's cool about that is the first area where all the booths are, they usually have to tear that down on the last day, but in this case they didn't have to. The booth stayed up the entire time. People were able to go play the arcades, go check out games, do whatever they wanted to do, and stay at the booths if they wanted to during finals day, which is awesome. So I guess the idea there was going to be, all right, people would go in and come out of the finals arena, and then go back and like kind of go watch it at the second stage area or so. But like if you went in previous years, what would happen a lot of the times, like because it was like the UFC kind of baseball stadium setup, you just go into there and people would stay there the whole day, and then there'd be like stadium accommodations and go around to like little stadium booth things and then stadium bathroom seating and stuff, and you'd be in all your sections. So it was more or less ready for like that type of setup and that type of crowd. I feel like in this case, people going in that are planning to stay there the whole day, like you're not going to be able to it's not going to be comfortable because you're in there, and if you're holding that seat for like throughout every game the entire time, like leaving means you're going to go back into this line, which is nuts because it's at the capacity point. And I know that at one point I saw like Rick himself like literally walking the line of infinite people explaining what was going on the whole way through, which is like, I'm like, like he's the type of dude that would do that. I can absolutely see that, and it was incredible.
Like a weekend where everyone is trying to fit themselves into a baseball stadium to watch a 16-hour baseball game.
Yeah,
3 days in a row.
How warm is the venue? It was cold. It was very conditioned. It was
oh yeah, Las Vegas,
frosty.
Man, Las Vegas. Oh, it knows it's in a desert.
They
know that the location is an affront to God.
No, they blasted that shit. It was like you probably I was when I go to Vegas, I'm like, t-shirts and shorts the whole time. But like for the venue, I'm like maybe a little light jacket just in case I get kind of cold. But yeah, so that's the thing. If you're going into finals day on Sunday and you want to hold that seat for the entire day for watching all fighting game top sixes in the Mandalay Bay Arena, you could kind of do that. Here, not as much. And essentially, it's like if you could walk out to the second area and like, get that viewing experience, but if you didn't want to leave, it was going to be rough for food, for bathrooms, for all that shit.
I have a question. You said something that activated something in my brain.
I may or may not have an answer.
Why did you just say top 6?
Because top 6 is what goes up on the main stage now at EVO. It became that about 2 years ago or so, or was it last year the first time? I forget. It's no longer the top 8, and I think it was in the interest
Who gets cut?
The 7th place matches. So
like losers or winners bracket.
Well, so in any when you have a top 8 like bracket, usually you end up having 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 people tied for 5th, and then 2 people tied for 7th.
Yeah.
So the people tied for 7th end up being not on the main stage. And like that sucks because it's like, top 8 has been the significant thing for the longest while now, but I think it was just straight up in the interest of time. right? And I think it was just a decision that was made to be like, hey, we're trying to get people in here and then out of here at a decent hour, to not have Evo run until like 4 a.m. or whatever, to not have these crowd problems exacerbate and become worse, and to not have the event have to start at 6 a.m. either. It was nice that they have eliminated things like 8 a.m. pools. Now you don't have to worry about that shit and stuff. But I think the part of going to top 6 is just to make the time part of it work. I prefer.
I see folks saying that it's for ads. Do you believe that has merit?
That ad time is definitely part of that too. But people, they're sponsors and stuff. But there always have been. I think that top 8 is just, it's the traditional thing we're all used to, and I think that's always what it's been, and it feels worth it. When you fight to get on the stage for that in the bracket. But all the top, every year where that's been a case or whatever, it's always just been like, okay, it's gonna start crazy early, it's gonna run stupid late, everyone's gonna be fucking dead, it's gonna feel bad, and if you are trying to get into the arena and hold your seat the entire time, so be it, but I know not everyone was happy with that. I certainly wasn't, but like at this point it's just a lock, and they're running top 6. That's what it's been this wasn't the first year.
And that's just Evo, like, because I know
yeah.
I've heard top 8 at other places.
Yeah, it's just Evo.
That's probably why that deleted from my brain, if that was in fact last year already.
I mean, I assure you, like, it's not just the advertising element of that. Like, from talking to people I know and stuff, but like it's time, it's all the issues with capacity, it's all these things, right? Like you get in and a get out, and you can have a lot. There's more flexibility with less time or whatever.
I have a better idea for time.
Okay.
I think that you could have top 8 for all the games and have later pools and have everything fit nice. If we just had the first up to the semifinals or quarterfinals of Mortal Kombat, and then just have Sonic Fox come out and just hand him the trophy.
I agree.
And then just cut the whole fucking thing.
Hand them the trophy. I agree with that 100%. Yes. In fact,
just give them the trophy.
Right?
Just be like, here you go again.
I mean,
you know what? Just keep it at home, and we'll just send you a sticker to put on it every year.
Pat, you actually went further than me, because I was waiting in the cut after you were done to say we could just cut Mortal Kombat. But
okay.
But hey, you got there with it, right? Absolutely.
Well, I'm sitting there and I'm I'm scrolling on Twitter, and it's like Sonic Fox won Mortal Kombat again. I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Of course it did. Yeah.
It entered in and left because it's such a non-factor.
And it's also one of those.
Do they even pop off, or are they just like, yes, thank you?
Well, it's like no matter how, it's like, it doesn't matter how the game is playing, how anyone's feeling about it, whatever's happening. It's like, yeah, it's just this is what's going down regardless. Now of course, this is assuming, of course, that the right version of the game is running too as well, because
I heard about that. That's a mess, dude.
There was a match that had to be replayed because it was on the wrong version in top 6.
And the fucking winner inverted
sucks.
As a result.
Garbage sucks. So yeah, man, Mortal Kombat. Like, but it's. I talked about how the signups were at CB were like really rough and wild, because again, it was like, Tekken 1800, S Street Fighter 1600, MK1 250, right? That's wild for a brand new game, but it's also not wild for the game that is, hey everybody, check out the fatalities. All right, are you gone? Are they gone? Okay, cool, later. So yeah, there's just the fact that there's no staying power to that, man. It's a bummer, because it's like the whole thing I'm trying to do, which is like, let's get people to stick around and play these games. It's like, that's not the game that gets people to stick around. It just, they come and then it like shoos them away really quickly. But yeah, we could probably get more time back if you just straight up fucking Lord of the Flies, one of those games, Yeah, but hey, I would say that like up front, that's the shit that like didn't go smoothly, and I will say that
Mm.
everything else was fucking awesome. I had a great time. It was very cool, and the Evo is one of those things where it's just like, okay, I'm going to. I've learned my lesson at this point. I'm going to
Yeah.
loosely like plan like vague things for each day,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
at any given moment, those are going to get tossed and turned
Well,
upside down.
I mean,
So fuck it. You're
it's a scenario, it's a location and a crowd and a vibe that is contingent on, oh, I've made plans for the whole day, and then, oh wow, I haven't seen you in a year. Hey, we're
Exactly.
going over here, and then your whole
Exactly.
day is gone
yeah.
because you're in a pit crab fighting or something.
And you know, you want to obviously go for drinks and chill and do stuff and whatever you can, but you're like, there's only so much you can do. So I was, you know, we were able to see and hang out with Susie for a bit on the first day there. That was a lot of fun catching up over there. And I think like the Friday was just well, no, actually no, it was Thursday. Yeah, because we landed on Thursday because like okay, even getting there and getting back is getting more and more tricky because like
Well, this year was extra special.
well, so we landed before the fucking insane Microsoft bullshit happened. So thankfully that wasn't, you know, that didn't affect the flight because I had to get it super early. But more and more people, those flights used to be like, oh yeah, flight to Vegas, there's a couple a day, straight, direct, it's not that bad. And it's gotten more and more like difficult to get a decent time and difficult to get decent seats as well. And it's like because more and more people are going to Evo, and
Yeah.
in line I saw people that I haven't seen since fucking college, like that are just like, oh yeah, we're just going to check it out. And I was like, whoa, holy shit, like yeah, okay, no, this is people are traveling for just the spectacle of checking it out now. And as a result, yeah, there's like less options on how to get there over the years.
I think the most tragic one that I saw was Harada himself with his shit all fucked up going, I'm taking an Uber from Vegas to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I assume that was he had a connecting flight that was just not going to happen.
Man, it was nuts, and like people we knew were like in the air while the shutdown happened, and like had to fly in circles and then get rerouted to land. Like,
It's like R2, man.
god damn it.
You know why that happened, right?
Because
The
Microsoft
CrowdStrike shit.
fucking bullshit.
So
I want to blame it on
Crowd-
Edge. I want to blame it on Edge somehow.
You can't, unfortunately. So CrowdStrike is a company that does like software, whatever, that lots of companies like to use. And they pushed out a bad update that blue screens your shit. But what was more interesting than that is that people did some digging, and 1 year ago, they're like, CrowdStrike's having a lot of trouble filling cybersecurity positions. So we're going to turn to generative AI to help shore up some of the workload.
Come on, it can't be that predictable.
It is literally that someone fucking slotted in some goddamn AI code and didn't check it
Okay.
because it went out without test. And it crippled the whole world's infrastructure.
Well, Microsoft, I apologize. It appears it is not you at fault then.
Oh, don't worry. We'll have plenty of that. In fact,
No, it is not Microsoft. It is not their
in
fault.
fact, I have a new thing.
You're holding an object.
I can smack X-Bob with this pipe.
Oh, I see. Okay. When it needs to know its place. Gotcha. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so the fortunately that was avoided, but getting in on the Thursday. Yeah, so the whole thing was like, okay, let me see if I can squeeze in there. I ran into like, Kenny and Steve and JJ and stuff. They're all around, and everything was like, okay, I got to go up and see the suite. So I was gonna make plans to do that, and then fucking Henry, aka Chai Rithi, the Montreal Chun-Li player. You've been hearing me say that name for years on the podcast probably and stuff. Just has been playing out of his mind for the last 2 years. He's been touring around, playing a lot of Third Strike everywhere, and going to France, going to EVO Japan, etc. And just went on a fucking tear, and just took on everybody in the. This is the year that they had the Legacy Third Strike tournament as well, which was like awesome because it's the biggest Third Strike tournament that's ever happened. With over 1,000 participants. It's literally like this is history for this game.
Children love Third Strike,
and yeah, and like it is one of the games too that is just. I mean, we've talked about it forever, but it's the most respected. You know what I mean? It's like it has like it asks a lot of you. And while being the most respected, it also features copious amounts of bullshit. And it kind of just goes to show you, it's like there was never a mythical time where everything was balanced and great and fair.
Oh my god, Third Strike's so busted, dude.
This never existed, but
like there was that point in time where it was like discovered, like, well, not discovered, but it was codified. Like, yeah, no, Q is like goddamn awful, awful. Except for that guy over there who does nothing but play Q every single day of his fucking life.
Right.
No, he's good. He's making me rethink the tier list.
And so, like we ran over to see. It's like, oh shit, Henry made he made it all the way out of the initial pools, made it beyond round 2, and he's playing for top 24, so it's like, oh, we ran over to watch the match, and like he fucking does it, and we pop off and it's hype, and then it's like, okay, now we have to go back over to the booths because we weren't finished checking out stuff. It's like, wait, hold on, watch this match. And it's like, what's going on over here? And it's like, yo, this Hugo player is fucking nasty. Right? Like, oh my god. And then Henry and then Younes, again, the other Montreal folk that we travel with, are just like, oh yeah, no, you need to know this dude, Hayao. You need to watch this shit. He's a beast, and he is hilarious, and he poses, and he has so much fun with it, and like just makes it a spectacle every time he's on stage. And he's always been this way, cosplaying in previous events as well. And in particular, it's not just the wild show that he puts on, but like Henry was telling us, he's like, this Hugo player has the most disgusting footsies of anyone I've ever played.
I've seen little bits and pieces of clips, and it's pretty out there. And
you're like, wait, what? Hugo? And he's like, yeah, terrifying, So it's like, okay, let's watch. And sure enough, this is on Saturday. Like, no, this is prior to this is on Friday rather. He fucking just does sick shit and gets up and does the double arm pose and is going nuts, and everyone's like, it's like, okay, yeah, no, this is a hero in the making. So, all the way through fucking top 24, which we were at the time busy because we had a meeting, and then came back to get the heads up that like, Chirithi made it top 6. Let's go, and that was like, all right, fuck the plans, fuck everything we were doing, we're heading straight over, and it was on Saturday, so we got into the front, went to the front of the stage, and there was Esteban, the Bestaban, who, I mean, that's Hold Back to Block, shout outs to them, that's his groupie. Just that dude's, he's mean. He's really nice with a camera and some editing software, and for the most part, like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, he's always done a great job, and he's over there with the EVO digital channel stuff and everything, and doing a great job. But like when you're seeing the production quality and like that with the full team and everything going and the way it's all just, it's like, okay, yeah, no, like the talent of the crew involved in making that whole thing run is it's exceptional. It's incredible. It's I mean, whatever it's the difference between running your stream setups on Wi-Fi at the back of the net cafe and like a television production for broadcast of a sporting event. It's night and day. It's incredible. So that was hype running up there, and then like, yeah, we got our seats within rush the stage distance, because we gotta rush the stage if shit pops off, and sure enough, like when he started doing it, It was awesome to just, I'm like, okay, we need to make sure the stream hears us scream the MTL chant. Anywhere, anytime you hear that shit, know that it's us, you know, and shouting them like, "Away, Henri!" You know, like just get the most French shit across the arena. And of course, people looking up and over are like, "Is that fucking Woolie?"
You know? Why is Woolie up there?
Like, "Away!" Continue comme ça. And
what is he saying? I don't understand.
You know. And then while that's happening, of course, yeah, you got to see, I'm sure, the highlights of Hayao just fucking.
Oh, I've seen some bits.
Just goofy walking out like, oh, where's the camera? Right, doing the Luke. What? Heh? Oh, there it is. Right. Amazing stuff. Like all the playing to the camera, to the crowd, to the stage, just winning everybody over. You know, amazing. Taking selfies with each match too, as well. Absolute legend status with that. And then of course it's not just the poses and the splits with getting cheeked up sitting on the ground either, or anything of that. It's the fact that the level of play is so disgusting, which, yeah, they're calling it EVO moment 38. You know, the fucking Hugo air parry off the EX Tatsu to land and then get the knockdown, does a standing roundhouse, which then Wake Up Ken does a super, goes flying underneath him to the other side of the stage.
That was the bit that I saw.
EX
I'm like,
Larry.
I'm looking at what's probably the best Hugo ever.
Insanity. Absolute insanity. And like, I got up and ran forward, and then everyone just rushed the stage to be like, yeah! And I was right there behind in the group, and just like, it was nuts. No one could believe what they just saw, you know. And you're like, this game and everything it asks of you, to have that level of control, and yeah, it just absolute beast. So what a play. It was sick. Not to mention as well the previous cross up Tatsu parry to 720 as well that he did. And you know, like, I think it's awesome to see that. And you're seeing a Hugo crushing it in the bracket. You're seeing MOV picking Elena with healing, and you know, and MOV is like, he can just play any character. He can do whatever he wants. He's the fucking god of that game. You know what I mean? He can just do whatever. But he's like, yeah, he's gonna pick that. He's gonna press buttons. He's gonna hang out. He's gonna chill, and like, you're gonna see that in your top 8 or your top 6. You know. It was sick. It was a lot of fun. And then, yes, I mean, Henry just doing it, right, getting in there. And like, I feel as well, so when he like going all the way up to final game against Issei, and then losing, and then he was in the winner's bracket, then coming back around, he has to fight Issei again, and then same thing, 3-2 down to the last touch. You know, it's like, he could. It was within coin flip fucking distance of that, just one touch, one exchange. You know, and the thing is too is as well, it's like, he's in his time traveling and stuff, like, he's fought against all the legends and stuff at this point, and has had the experience and chance, and like, him and MOV have gone back and forth, and he's like, yeah, that's a mirror match basically, because you'd pick Chun-Li, and then he's like, and it's extremely doable, like, he's done it. So that could have been an all the way situation, you know, but it went the way it went. He got 3rd place at the biggest Third Strike tournament ever.
3rd place in the world at Third Strike's nothing to sneeze at.
Couldn't be prouder, you know. And yeah, just the amount of hard work and fucking time put into that. Like, watching the level of dedication, you know, to like, okay, this is what it takes to get this good and to play this well under these circumstances and stuff. And the process of getting good at fighting games and like getting that good is really just, and at all things really, it's getting rid of surprises one by one. It's the process of eliminating all surprises from the equation, right? First, there's the game. You want to get rid of all surprises by making sure you know what can happen in the game, what the characters can do, what they can do to you, to each other, and all the things that occur, right? Then you're like, great, I know the game. Now, like, what about the environment, right? Getting used to the environment, the types of setups you play on, all that stuff factors in as well. There's a lot of times where you might be like amazing online at home with your beats and Discord open and you're an online god, but if you've never been IRL, you've never felt that, you've never had people next to you, you've never had the noise, the sound, etc., and it fucks you up, right?
It's a lot.
That makes a huge difference. And in some cases, it's as simple as like every Japanese tournament runs on the arcade cabinet. They have the machine for Third Strike just running right there. Here they had the kind of like arcade hardware on the CRT screen with a super gun setup, you know? So even that of like plugging in your own stick is a little bit of a different experience compared to what all the Japanese players are used to. You know, a lot of you see like Hayao sitting on the floor because what they play at is the cabinet, which is the seated, you know, kind of like Astro City cab you're used to seeing in like Japanese arcades. But like if you're not going to play on one of those, if you're playing at home, people are sitting on the floor at home, you know? So that's the second most comfortable thing for a lot of players. So that's kind of what you're seeing there with the whole stick plugged in stuff. And even that, if you're only used to playing on one type of cabinet ever, then that type of situation might change. You know, I've seen Chirithi like compete in setups that were laggy, you know, in situations where the person setting it up didn't know what they were doing, when the stream was recording before the game to the TV feed was priority. So you have like things like that where it's like, oh, they didn't split it later, they split it before the game feed got to the monitor that they're playing on, and now there's this extra delay for no reason because they just all kinds of dumb shit happens in these setup situations, you know. So by getting all of these never before experienced like moments out of the way, you just like, okay, we'll just learn to play our game through. Lag, of course, is bullshit. You shouldn't have to play in that situation. But regardless, I think the process of him experiencing every single possible way of playing this game also made a huge difference there, and just like, yeah, led to that result. So incredibly exciting. And yes, as the moment like Hayao won that match against Frankie BFG, it was like, okay, now he's got to come out and fight Chirithi, and Chirithi's going to be the bad guy for beating him, you know? So I'm like, all right, this whole arena is about to turn. And, you know, me, Reggie, and like
they're all competing. It's different.
Like me, like the few of us, there's like 4 of us or 5 of us from Montreal that are there. We've got to hold it down. We've got to scream and fight this entire arena, and we did. We definitely did. At some point it was like, let's go high out, Chirithi! Let's go high out. So that's where my voice went. I have to go back and listen to the actual stream to see if any of that comes through. But we did it. We screamed MTL and popped, and it was great. And yeah, it was a whole lot of fun seeing, you know, our boy walks out and he's got the fucking Hiro Yui pose, the Gundam wing, you know, because everyone's doing their cool poses and stuff. And so when you see him doing that versus Hayao, who's like JoJo posing as well, like against each other, you're like, what the fuck is? I'm like, it's fighting games is what that is. That thumbnail where like 2 characters are posing up with the versus in the middle, and it's like you don't even see the characters. It's just the artwork of the actual players. That's awesome. So yeah, no, Third Strike, fucking great. Just that was a whole lot of fun there. And I mean, I guess beyond that, yeah, when it comes to Street Fighter 6, I feel so it's interesting because I'm like, I wanted bird supremacy. I wanted 2 years of each bird. Just like like on both sides.
Just for the name?
No, because I've talked to those guys. They're really chill. Like, and at this, like, you know, yes, the idea of the name of the bird like thing would have been cool, but no, because they're great folks, and like I have infinite respect for 2 dudes on like in their own scene just grinding it out, becoming best in the fucking world, and then proving that elsewhere, right? So
Mhm.
same thing for we talk about the Arslan Ash story kind of thing. It's like that kind of thing where you're just like, yo, it's Big Bird and Angry Bird fucking doing it, you know? And I mean, again, just like yeah, like chatting with them a bit and stuff last year and this year, and hopping over to their stream as well. They have an awesome time, and they're really good guys. So I was definitely rooting for that, even though the Marissa switch happened. You know the and I get it. It's a rough time for Marissa Stonks right now. People are rightfully, they're just like, yeah, Bison's coming along, working less, doing more damage, or not more damage, but doing like equal amounts of insane damage, which makes her whole specialty not as
I have
special
to say, I've
anymore.
been playing a lot of Bison, and I dabbled in Marissa, and he just seems to get more.
Yep, I get it.
I get more out of the same thing,
I get it. I get it.
and it's easier.
But I will say that like I certainly always have a feeling of like, well, besides just like me liking the character and stuff like that, there's always a feeling I get when stuff is happening and I'm like things that there's always a point where I'm like, how much will this affect me to the extent of my abilities? And it's like I've looked at it and I'm like, yeah, I can certainly consider I could consider switching. I do still enjoy and love the character. But I'm also like, it's not like I'm playing the character to the maximum of their abilities though, right?
Mhm.
Like I'm not doing everything I can do efficiently, perfectly as this character. So, to be like, there's a lot of times where it's, it's almost like someone who's like in a very early like rookie rank going like, oh, they nerfed crouching medium punch, man, fuck this, I'm not playing Luke anymore, or you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like, but you don't. That's not relevant to you and the way you're playing. You're fine,
Also, that's not love.
Sure.
Where's your love?
I mean, not everybody has that. Which, to be fair, like love has nothing to do with picking a top tier and winning. You know. Um, but yeah,
Should.
but yeah, no, that's always been the case, and I mean, I guess I might as well repeat for posterity's sake on this one, but like from back in the day, like in every fighting game, I always pick characters based on like the character I fucking like I'm super into and like I just love the
And you
aesthetic of and
love.
everything and that I love exactly, with the exception of Blanca, who was never that. Blanca was not the
Love Blanca in your heart.
Blanca is not the character I picked because I was like, ooh, I want to pick that guy. Blanca was the character I picked when I was a child that I could beat my older brother and cousins with in Street Fighter
That's a
2.
form of love.
And so that's
Destroy family is the purest love.
sure. But for anyone who's confused, when there was like, yo, Nikali is there, but now Blanca's out. You're gonna switch from Nikali to Blanca, right? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep playing Nikali. And it was like, oh, but why?
And because you knew then that was the time that you were going to have to play Nikali.
I mean, sure, but just to explain that it's just like Blanca is a character that I have like a fucking lifetime of history with, but it's not a pick out of like, oh, I love it's always the best. It's out of like I have a I don't I if there's a character that I like more and enjoy more, I'm gonna go to that character instead. Blanca's
Mhm.
history, but it's not my favorite character. Blanca's not my favorite Street Fighter character at all. So that's why you don't always see me going back in that direction if I'm pulled in by something else.
Mhm.
Yeah. So in any case, the I feel as if who is my favorite character? Makoto. She's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's
She's the
Makoto,
fucking
yeah.
best. Makoto's the coolest Street Fighter character. Like, no, done. So yeah, that's the case. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so Street Fighter 6. Like, but so Punk though, finally getting US on the board there, like after a history of no United States winners in the main Street Fighter game.
Close almost over the years, right?
Yeah, but never, what was it? Always a bridesmaid, never a bride, right?
I saw the breakdown with Japan at 15 and Korea at 1, and then everybody else fighting for scraps. Like, Lord.
So you got that, and then you've got the part where like just Punk on his own has always just like he's chasing those ghosts, like of those moments, especially like the bracket reset into lot. Like it's Punk's had it rough, man. You know, so finally getting the monkey off his back and getting the dub, you know, earned it. And it was, but the thing is, it was one fucking touch away in that moment against Big Bird. And you know, like I'm sure the thing is too is like those three play each other all the time. They're really good friends. They fucking lab it out and go. So I'm like, there's always a thing where like you see how the characters are playing, you see how the person is playing throughout the weekend, and you know you can make a call there. And in a lot of cases, there's times where like Punk starts to lose it, and then there's times where he's hot and he's just unstoppable.
Yeah.
But like there's an X factor is like between friends that have played forever, they know things and they've done things that you've not seen, and they know stuff about each other's habits that you don't know. So there's always just a wild X factor there, you know, and that applies across the board. Like when two people are meeting in the bracket that know each other so well, you're not gonna get the results you necessarily expect from people that are just playing their characters as tightly as they can, you know. So yeah, like that was you know, pretty a wild finals, an exciting moment. But I was like, I was bummed because like again, like you know, you didn't get it, but either way, just incredible to see, you know. And I feel like as well, one thing that Angry Bird said in the past too on their streams was just like, yo, any bracket I get and that anytime I win an event, Big Bird easily could have won as well, and it can just go vice versa. It could go either way between us, you know. And like this is like, yeah, clearly that's the, you know, between the Big Bird, the Red Bull event before and this, it's like, yeah, they definitely could. But the three of them are just like absolute beasts, so congrats there. Yeah, I think as well, something that was really dope, the intros to each of these games is always Red Rapper, aka Zaid Tabani, you know, was in charge of like the music for the whatever they play. And so they did a really awesome job previous years with the sounds of EVO. There's like a soundtrack to the entire tournament that's awesome. And this time around for Third Strike as the legacy game, they actually got Infinite, the rapper from Third Strike, to do a track.
That track is incredible.
It's so dope, right? That was super cool. So they got that going. Let's get it on now, you know? And coming back after all this time, it was really hyped to see that, like, the sound of Third Strike is here for these the to announce the grand finals event, or the top six. And with the Street Fighter 6, it was it was Red Rapper himself, you know, just doing it with the No More Corners, which is it was hype. It worked in all the stuff you expect to hear. It worked in the yeah, you know, and even a sly little you know, sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas, like even what, like a little bit of a you know, like a little bit of that Not Like Us in there for a second. So it was awesome with the music, and yeah, something I've been sleeping on, because I've been there, so you don't necessarily get to hear things as clearly. Like, you don't get to hear what's on the stream the whole time. You get to hear it in the arena for the moment the thing gets announced. But I didn't know the extent that there was that full soundtrack for each year. So going back to listen to that is a must. So we got to get some hands on some games, but I guess like the one other thing was, every year I try to make it over to the best fucking sandwich place, Earl of Sandwich. So good. So it's just simple, just a simple sandwich, but they just, you know, the bread is perfect, everything's perfect. I fucking love it. So went over there and just, I mean, it's not much to this really, but you have these moments where like, I'm like, yo, Canada and America, you know, we're friends, and you know, I can slip by sometimes, and people be like, oh, they don't know you're Canadian until you go like, hey, I'm actually Canadian, and they go, oh shit, you know, we can.
And sometimes not.
And sometimes not. And there's sometimes.
My wife says we have incredibly thick accents, and I'm like,
sure,
I don't see it.
But there's point is there's times where like I'm just walking through and I'm like, oh yeah, I could be anywhere in Canada right now, or anywhere in Montreal. And there's other times where I'm like, I am in fucking America, and it boy does that hit you. And I got hit. Me and Reggie were walking into Planet Hollywood, and as we're going up the escalator, we just heard these chants of a group of people going, winner, 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 win. And I'm sure he's hearing this and freaking out right now because and we're like, what the fuck is that, right? And we look over and like a crowd of child pageant little girls in like stage bikinis is the best I can describe it, are all just chanting and going, yeah, like a child pageant just ended, and they're all walking out. And this is like late on Friday night at the fucking casino, and it was just, what the fuck is happening? What is this? Oh my god. It was just like, and then like, what, like, why Vegas, why and then of course you're like, and I'm sure and the parents are around, you're just like, why are you doing this? Why all concentrated in this one place? In this, it was rough, man. And like we're just like, what the fuck is happening right now? And I've never, in all the Vegas trips I've taken, nothing like that has ever occurred. It was fucking nuts, dude. And it was just like, again, like everything about all of that has always been extremely fucking weird and just gross. And it's like, yeah, it's just happening, you know? So, yeah.
Vegas. That's fucking. That's weird.
Yo, Vegas, you better not to go to cell block 1.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, it's. And then, you know, and aside from like just the initial fucking is like.
Yeah, aside from that.
Literally, yes, I know, right? It's a big one. But a big aside is like, you can see the parents who are like doing the dream fulfillment thing because they think this is the like, they're down with doing this because it's like whatever life they lived that was unfulfilled, they're like gonna live it vicariously through their child. So let's gussy up our kid and fucking make up them and put them on stage and do the whole bit, you know? And like, you're like that as well in the orbit, and it's all bad. It's just all bad. It's bad from the top. It's bad in the middle. It's bad at it's just fucking, you know, yeah. So try to fucking just like drink that away, you know.
Just drink it away.
Yeah, that was I don't know how. Anyway, whatever. I don't know how that's not illegal. Like, I don't get how that is not a thing that literally the police can't just like, whoop, whoop, hey, right.
What, you gonna legislate freedom?
Yeah.
In Vegas?
We gotta go after the cabals, but we cannot go after the child bride laws for ancient, old, traditional Christian values. Let's not stop that. No. Anyways, whatever. It's fucked. So that happened. And then we went and had sandwiches. And they were
were your sandwiches good?
And they were very good sandwiches. Anyway, that was dope. Obviously just you know, nice to run into folks the entire time. Matsumoto, one of the two new producers, walking by, just be like, yo, you're the man, you're great, you're cool, you're the best, I love you, keep it up, good work. And that's a very different response from when other Street Fighter producers would walk by, you know?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You know, sometimes it'd be like,
does anybody have a brick?
Sometimes you're like, oh, look, there it goes, you know, there it goes. Yeah, how about that? Well,
look, he's over there.
Yeah. Hey, there he is. What's up? Anyway, good stuff. I got some time to go in and get some hands on some of the games that were being shown off. So first got some more time in on the 2XKO early builds, this was the one with Brawn in it, and
Mhm. I saw that trailer. That's a very good rendition of Braum.
okay, so I don't know much about the character, obviously, but
Did you see that trailer?
yeah,
You're good.
yeah,
That's what he's got going on.
feels like you got the like, I mean, I'm seeing Reinhardt like shield walking going on, seeing the little mascot things getting thrown out, and buffing the shield, and then disgusting defensive armor breaking stuff with that in a fighting game context. It was incredible.
Mhm.
The way this game works as well allows for, yeah, just immediately disgusting possibilities, because you can pull the shield out, buff it so that it can have armor, and kind of just walk forward and block whatever's happening. And while that's going on, your second character can jump in and then do some kind of mix up, and they're essentially, again, like Reinhardt covered. I'm going to
Mhm.
use that as my point of reference because I don't have the correct one for.
That's fine, man. You're good.
Yeah, just for anyone. I don't know.
Don't worry about it.
Whoever came first, I don't know, but and that is really, like, in a fighting game context, nuts that is a really disgusting advantage to have. And so watching how he plays in particular with Ilaoi is awesome, because they have really great synergy as the two big bodies together. He can shield while she puts the tentacles down, and then just like abuse you left and right with the mixes or the grabs, all that stuff. So yeah, I got some footage of us messing around with that as well. And in addition to that, they added a new fuse to the game. So the fuses are essentially like the grooves in a way, and
Mhm.
that was the stuff where it was like, what kind of like special extra mechanic do you want? Do you want double tag so that you can switch left and right, can't handshake tag? Do you want double assists?
I feel like we talked about this before. It
We
just
did.
didn't have a unique name to it yet.
Yeah, so they were called fuses at the time, but I was just, you're not going to remember that until you're actually playing it. So I'm not, I wasn't going to use the lingo per se, but yeah, it's like a groove, and in some cases it's your comeback mechanic as well, depending on which one you pick. So at the time, the default one you were picking was just, hey, when one character dies and you're getting low in life, you get stronger, you get a buff of damage and defense, and then you get the ability to dash cancel out of one thing at any time on offense, but you can only do it once.
Mhm.
So that's really good because you can use that to get out of all kinds of trouble situations. Um, so now they added a new one, which is actually like the auto combo one, essentially. And
Oh,
and so it's interesting because it's like so we have been wondering and having and theorizing about, like, here's a game that has a whole lot of insane execution and depth and all that, but it's got the easy execution of one button for a special, right? So there's no longer any like input restriction on people's ability to do stuff, but anytime a game is still sufficiently fast enough, and like, when there's combos and there's all kinds of things and people are playing it at like a high level, especially, you're gonna have to still deal with a lot. So it's like, just having a one button special move, a modern mode essentially, in a Marvel style game context, is not enough for people. It's like, that makes it easier to one degree, but the other half is the combos themselves, and accessing the fun. So so one of the things you can pick is essentially each route of light, medium, or heavy will do like a combo with the character, like almost like Dragon Ball does.
yeah.
And they have different like types of combos they do, and you can go from one into the other. But of course, you're sacrificing one of those other really incredible offensive abilities. So
True, but reliability has value. Modern mode players has taught me that.
yeah, sure. The thing is, of course, is I don't see it, and I kind of asked. I was like, is there any like version of this where this would be valuable at high level, compared to any of the other things you can get? And they're like, probably not. I mean, you never know how things are going to shape up, but probably not, because not having double tag, double assist, double super, or free focus attack dash cancel, um, excuse me, is really bad. So, yeah, auto combos is nice, but yeah, at sacrifice of your ability to like actually open up the opponent. I don't know, but it's there for folks. So you're gonna basically be able to put a modern mode on the already modern mode game, and the fact that that's necessary says a lot, because it's like, yeah, motion inputs or not, that's still not enough for folks. You're gonna need you have to find, again, better ways or more direct ways to access the fun. So yeah, it was sick running sets with that, and I'm very looking forward to, like I said, the 2 chairs on one side of the stream, 1 chair on the other, as people can play asymmetrical sets with each other, and they're actually fair, like balanced against each other. Like I want to see, and I was talking to, I had lunch with some of the guys, and I was talking to some of the people working on it about this, but like, I want to see teams with headsets on each other communicating, or like the mics in the next to the 2 players on each side, so you can kind of hear what they're saying to each other if they're communicating at all, because fighting games have never had that or needed that. This is brand new stuff. And other games, obviously, like, shooters, team-based, anything, you get to hear the communication between the team, and I think it would be really hyped to have that for a fighting game.
You get to hear their comms.
Yeah.
And then you get to argue about why their comms are weird and which one of them is dosing Adderall or cocaine.
Yeah, that's wild shit. There was an error.
It's all of them. Shocker.
There was a moment of like Adderall discussion in the FGC as well, certainly. PEDs. And
I don't know what the solution to that is, because if you got the ADHD, Adderall brings you up to normal, but if you don't have the ADHD, Adderall brings you significantly past normal.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not only that. Like I would say, like, and then the coaching discussion is I'd say like equally as tricky, because it's like, okay, Tekken allowed for like a designated coach who can come up between sets, and like that feels like damage mitigation more than it does like a forward policy, because if you can't verify whether someone's on Discord or not when they look at their notes, if you can't verify whether they're on a WhatsApp call or not on their headphones instead of playing their music, then you either have to put phones in Faraday bags, or, you know what I mean? Go check to make, like, no one's doing that, right?
We are moving closer and closer to the StarCraft cubes.
Yeah.
The fucking Korean like RTS cubes to just seal the competitors in.
So it's easy to say ban all coaching, but it's hard to actually.
It is actually. It's super easy.
Yes, but then like how or what lengths are you going with every setup, with every match, to ensure and enforce what people are doing with their headphones and with their phones and other things like that? It's weird. And then how do we?
I mean, coaching is easy to ban. You just don't let someone walk up there.
Sure. Right. Actual in-person stuff. Yeah. But then but when it gets to the phone call, headphone version of events,
you don't let them talk to anyone.
But it doesn't have to involve talking. It can just be one way with the headphones in, listening.
You seal them in a fucking cube.
So yeah, exactly. Right. There are issues that are not easily solvable that get presented by this. And lest we go to the Magnus Carlsen discussion, or where your opponent shows up potentially with a fucking Morse code butt plug. Now what?
Well, I mean,
3 buzzes means you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough drive rushes.
You can't do that. You can't punish that. Hey, listen. We're gonna hit a point at some point where someone's gonna be up there. It's like, listen, I think he's got something in his ass. You can check my ass. Check mine first. I'm willing. What? He won't do it? Disqualify him.
And then you pull it out, and it turns out the butt plug was a Razor butt plug. God damn it! Fucking Razor again.
This is not when I wanted this to malfunction.
We don't know where this is going, but I can see that the Tekken version of it was like, okay, not during or in between, just let's control the chaos, so to speak, And I mean, and like, yeah, people can certainly, when they're off stage, go and take their calls, check, do whatever they got to do, check the notes, talk to whoever they got to do. So before your sets, that's expected. And to which, like, yeah, Adele on stage, pulled out the phone and was just like, did a quick check in, like, yo, what am I not seeing? What's going on? And it makes a difference there. So,
I'm of the opinion genuinely that a massive open tournaments like EVO, the rules should probably be more relaxed than more strict, because it's just going to be impossible to actually run it. But an invitational, seal those bitches in a cube.
I mean, like, the way things go though is, well, there's two things. One, watching every pool match in that way to see who's doing, like, to see that type of shit is, an issue.
Hey, I need to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
All right, BRB. As I was saying, so there's an issue because you can't quite effectively monitor for Razer RGB butt plugs. Right? That's not going to fly.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. I suppose unless you see the pants start glowing blue, red.
That's a pretty strong
green,
glow.
and it starts doing the full, like, the full rainbow, like your keyboard. It kind of goes like woo. Maybe, but for the most part, very hard to enforce, right? People in pool, yes, you could turn the lights out and see whose pants are glowing. In pools, if you can't possibly have every judge looking at every set to see when someone checks their phone to see what's going on, and even if it was on a level of like, okay, well, it's almost like with someone else doing anything else cheating, like, if you see someone doing that, are you going to pause your game and potentially disrupt your match to report the other person? And they go, no, I wasn't. Look, and then you can't, you know what I mean? Like, it's a mess to then stop the match to have this accusation get proved, and then the ref has to figure out what happened and whether it was real or not.
Like, as long as there's people on hand to view all the matches that have money associated with them.
Well, technically, every match has money associated because you pay to enter. Right?
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean, but you can't do that. Like, rules have to
Why
apply
not?
Because rules can't change from lower level to high level. It's got to be consistent the whole way through the bracket.
So wait, you're saying that because you can't have a judge on every single match in every pool, there can't be any judges on the top 8?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is any rule that applies at pools also applies all the way up, and vice versa. The difference is just, if something happens in pools, it might have to get reported differently versus everyone seeing it happen live in front of them on the stage. Like, when something goes wrong and someone has to lose a round, regardless of whether they are okay letting the game continue, that applies at the pools level too, because they're like, it's not up to the players to decide who the villain is or who isn't or whatever. Like, all those things are consistent from the top down, and then, of course, there's the part where it's like, all right, you somehow magically find a way to, like, stop all potential outside contact, right, or whatever.
Right.
How do you stop someone in the crowd just going, yo, that string ain't real? You can jab Cammy before the dive kick. It's not real. Like,
the further we
the
talk
crowd
about
is right
this,
there.
the more my brain goes to the cube.
That's what, like, that's the thing, is like, when you actually have to sit and be the people that make the rules, these things are really hard to figure out. And there's not only do crowd pop-offs are those a thing. I've been at events where the in-house mic with the commentary will say, like, oh yeah, he doesn't know, but that's actually like +2 or whatever, and then it's like, well, now they do. Like, you have the crowd and you have the commentary and you have, like, there's a lot to consider there for what the coaching thing involves, and it's a giant monster of a problem. So I get why Tekken was like, okay, we'll allow it in a controlled way, because there's so many other uncontrolled ways that it's going to go down, anyways 2X KO, fucking just
Are there any more details on like release for that? Because it's so weird how long it's been.
The only so the only thing is that there's the playable demo, that the playable alpha that people are going to be able to like actually jump on and get hands on by signing up at with the account. You know, that's coming at soon. It sounds like I don't. It's August was the playtest. Yeah, August. So I'm hoping that's going to be a build with like everyone that's been announced so far. But yeah, that'll be again, next month or so. Fucking just it's so fluid and like nice to watch. It's very I mean, we talked about all the visual elements and the how strong everything is when you see like highlighted characters and the snappiness of it. But yeah, doing that again and stuff was a whole lot of fun. And the asymmetrical aspect, and we had like shout outs to the team too as well, because it's nice to have like getting hands on it, and then there's a little booklet at the booth you can quickly kind of flip through to get the information you need to just press buttons. But then they had people around that, and like good players that were just like, oh yeah, let me show you some stuff. That one of the developers came out as well and was like kind of showing us the ropes and what was dirty about that. So when everyone gets hands on in August, I think like this is going to be a playing is believing type situation where you can feel how
well, you don't have to, because it'll be free. Right, you don't have to believe.
Yeah,
you just it's there.
Yeah, but even games being free doesn't mean everyone's gonna bother. Like it's still
sure, but like
they have to be sold on the download. But it is
the inertia on that is gonna be as low as it's ever been.
The bar's never been lower. Literally, just click the button. Yeah, of course. So, it's nice that it feels like it's worth paying for, and it's going to be free is a pretty like, okay, that's a good, that feels like it's gonna do really well.
Hey, do you remember that gotcha conversation we had last week in which you had the idea of like to get the thing that I wanted, it would cost X amount of dollars
or so? Yeah,
this game is gonna skip huge portions of that process by just saying, hey, do you want this good skin? It's $400. Just skip right to the end.
Just get right to the end of the discussion.
Yeah,
no mask required.
This is for you, Prince.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Fuck. The next thing I did was Fatal Fury: City of the Wolves, Wharves even. So the
second game we're talking about today featuring Terry Bogard.
Indeed. That's it's really pretty, man. It looks really cool. And it's nice to say that considering it was like, oh boy, KOF 14, the simple collection, right? KOF 15, it's not as bad as 14. Yeah, all right. And then, in Sam's show, it's like, okay, that looks pretty cool. That's cool. That's good. Yeah. Like, the character designs are really awesome. But, like, just model and world fidelity is like, yeah, that's good. But, of course, like, you're fucking Dragon Ball FighterZ just came out. Like, we're Guilty Gear Strive is currently at, like,
hey, listen, man. I eagerly await. I eagerly welcome Fatal Fury to the year 2009. Welcome.
It is. So it's nice that it's like, it's not kind of golf clapping where you're like, oh, like, yeah, that's pretty good for what they usually do. It's like, no, this game looks fucking sick, man. It like the pop art filter and all that stuff is really like awesome in action. Yeah, just getting hands on it feels like what I thought it was, which is just, this is a 1v1 fucking fighting game, classic, pure. And what's interesting is like what the team was saying too was that yes, this is a lot of Mark of the Wolves, because you're seeing essentially the top system, which is where you set which third of your life bar you want to have extra abilities in. It's got the characters from Mark of the Wolves. It's got the, you know, the breaking system, which is kind of like you can do like an upper a shoryuken or something, and then AB to break out of it and then continue your combo. It's got fakes, which are from the old game as well, where you can start to do a fireball and be like, you know, and that's always incredibly powerful in any game. They added Ryu fake Hadoken to HD Remix, and it was insane. It was just batshit that you could have Ryu go Hadou, and you're like, I jumped, fuck.
Just like Luke, man, just like Luke.
You know, so yeah, this is baked into the system, which allows you to extend your combos as well, and like you could before, and all of that just, you know, is still intact. But it's obvious that the Garou Mark of the Wolves DNA is there, but they're saying that like there's going to be a real bout DNA too, and it's not just Garou Mark of the Wolves 2, but it's Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, because it's actually it's going to have elements of real bout Fatal Fury and Garou, you know. So I'm curious to see what that means right now, because there's no line system currently, which is the like back and forth, you know, there's no ring outs on the edge of the stage. So
I can literally hear Homogeneous in my mind right now. Out of bounds.
Yeah, that's the, you know, so I'm like, I don't know what that's gonna mean exactly, but it feels fucking awesome to play. We had as well one of the SNK, one of they have a Koichi, who is a top Guilty Gear player in Japan, came through and was able to kind of like show us, you know, some basics, some combos, and some advanced stuff, and it was pretty cool to just kind of see what's possible, because yeah, you've got, you know, Just Defend, of course, which is like your parry equivalent, but you've got the red Just Defend, which is like a red parry kind of thing. You know, there's advanced systems in there. There's things that are it's the most traditional and old school of all the new fighters in a way, you know. And that's even though it's got its kind of drive impact equivalent, which is the SPG move, you know. So I think that's going to be a really big hit for them as well. I think it's going to do well. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. Anyone that is kind of coming over from the old games, but anyone that likes the Street Fighter kind of experience, because for all, you know, Capcom and SF6 are in fighting games, it's also like, you know, Tekken is not Street Fighter, certainly. Guilty Gear,
no,
right? That's an
Tekken's its
anime
own beast,
right? It's its own 3D beast. Anime fighters are anime fighters, and Guilty Gear is you know, one of them. And like, you know, KOF is KOF. Like it's got its own thing with the team. Like there's not a lot of like, here's another 1v1 like paced, you know, footsies game in a way. And so this is going to be one of those. It's going to be the closest to a Street Fighter like of all the other games that are going to be coming out, you know. So that's fucking exciting. And while we were there, they announced Kevin fucking Ryan. So for anyone,
I fucking hate Kevin so much.
The goddamn just the crawling cop, and you're like, who is this loser, and why is he a character in Fatal Fury? Shut the fuck up. He's top tier. He's unstoppable. He's got cancels between his buttons that nobody else can do, and they're touch of death inducing. Eat shit. If you can land that heavy,
I just think he looks lame as fuck. Like that's always been like the start and end of it for me.
Yeah, and so the thing with it too, like you can land any of his fucking heavy buttons and then break and then do it again. The thumbnail is really weird render of him, because it looks like his hair is off and stuff, but when you go look at his actual like artwork with him and Marky the kid, like he looks totally fine. Like it's the official artwork of him from the side looks grid, you know, looks great. So it's just that weird one shot they chose for the frame on the thumbnail. But he's in there, and anyone who's like a Garou player that like, you know, played this game and like competed and or like got really into it is like, this character probably is just it needs to be there in the same way Magneto, Sentinel, and Storm need to be in Marvel. You know,
what you just said is completely insane. I just want to. That's my opinion.
How so?
People like Magneto and Storm and Sentinel.
Yes. Okay, once again, besides just the aesthetic of the weird cop dude that shows up here, which we've always been like, who the fuck is this loser? From the outside lore, not really playing the game, to that degree level. People who fucking play Mark of the Wolves know that Kevin is the best. He's top tier. He's God. He has.
Yeah, no, Kevin's kit is the best, not Kevin. Kevin is ripe for functional replacement.
I mean, yes, but at a point, where does the distinguishing factor step in? Like, I don't.
Whether or not I think they're cool or not.
I think the players I think the Kevin people that fucking run that character are just as invested as the MSS people that
care
like
about them.
Well, I'm telling you the way it is, bro.
The way that it is.
Okay, well, fine.
I want to live in the world in which it is how I want it to be.
That's fine. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to not care about the way it is. But when you talk about games where there's a god of that game that becomes like fucking, synonymous with it, like, yeah, they expect to see this fucker show up because, god damn it, that's what that is. That's what the game has been. That's what it's competitively been, So yeah, but I've always been like, I don't know if you're like, we had the rudest awakening discovering what the actual capability of what we thought this loser character was, because we're like,
oh yeah, that made me like love Garou less.
We're like, oh, is he like, he's like the Dan of the game or whatever, look at this loser. And it's like, yeah, you can say whatever you want about the character design, this is what he is, and where he lives. So it was crazy. But anyway, that's why he's showing up, yeah, getting hands-on as well with Vox Reaper, the new Grant. He's really fucking good. Like, it's interesting because he absolutely is like Grant, but like in a lot of ways he's faster at some stuff, and like seems like he's very well suited for this new system, because the way you do combos in it is like you have this rev gauge, which is like your accelerometer, and you can do like a basically EX moves into EX moves until it fills up, and then you burn out. And getting a character to do like a launch of any kind or things like that allow you to get your combo started in many cases involves spending a little bit and then doing an AB break on it, or somewhere in your combo you do a launcher into that. But he can get it without spending, by just doing like one of his big the Grant back wave attack, so I'm sold on the Grant disciple kind of design as well. Preacha, the kickboxer disciple of Joe Higashi, she's cool. I saw a lot of the design, again, elements carried forward from the old sprites we saw in the leaked Garou 2 disc. But they had a whole stage presentation where Hell Pockets was up there with the designers and stuff, and they're going through some of the old designs for Preacha and the process of how they got there. And fuck me, did some of the ones they didn't go with look incredible, because they're like SNK character designs, but just not, not the one we saw. And one of them was just straight up Vanessa with long red hair.
Yeah, it's a curse to see, like, hey, these are the ones we threw away, and like, because they always show like 5 to 10 of them, it's nearly inevitable that you're gonna see one that you're like, oh no,
I think.
Fuck. Like, they showed off a bunch of Bison designs and a bunch of them were trash, but like 2 of them were really good, and I wish we had got those instead.
I think the crowd reacted to seeing the Vanessa one, and like, it's wild because they're like, boy, they didn't even try. Like, it's just Vanessa with long hair, but fuck me, they should have went with it.
Yeah.
It's incredible, completely different energy, of course, and but they could have even changed the colors around a bit, whatever the case is. But just, it was, yeah. But again, I'm fine with what we got, but what we didn't get, yeah, still no sign of the twins, still no sign of Kim and so on. I hope they get fucking announced together, but they did announce a Vice and Mature coming to KOF 15, and they're up there. They got a cool look too that they got going for them. They
that's a really that is a. They're fine as DLC announcements.
Of course they're coming. It's Vice and Mature, right?
I know, but it's not like. So I'm very torn because I think the idea of saving all your coolest, most fan favoritist characters for the DLC is like awful, and you shouldn't do it. But at the same time, I really like Vice and Mature, but they don't have the pop that Geese or Iori with the Power of Flames or whatever the fuck. I mean,
they do have pops. People are huge fans of Vice and Mature, but the character polls that they run for these games are to decide who to put out for each season. And sell back to you, man. You know, it's like, okay, cool. The most popular characters are Biken, Dizzy, Johnny, Slayer. Oh, interesting. Okay. Duly noted. Tell me more, you know. No, I think I think that KOF is like if you weren't paying attention, you might be like, oh wait, weren't they already in the game?
I also thought that when I saw the picture of them being announced, I was like, oh, people are posting Mature and Vice art. Weird. Mm-hmm. I wonder why. And then I found out they were DLC, and I'm like, huh? Okay, all right, okay.
But yeah, I do like the the subtle changes to what to their design. So they went in KOF 13, they had like the business suit kind of look. And then they just went fully back to the classic 97 style business dress kind of thing, and now it's got the little lace kind of touches on it. It's nice, you know. Anyway, that was a bit of an aside, but yeah, City of the Wolves was super fun, and immediately I'm just like, cool, can't wait to see more, can't wait to get back to that and get more time on it. And it's again, it's going to be interesting playing one of these games where you're adding a lot of your execution is going to come from your ability to like land a button, do a fake special, and then cancel that to another button, you know, or then do an uppercut and then A/B cancel that to the rest of your combo. So it's going to ask a bit more of people that than some of the current new games are doing. So just note that there's some execution going to be involved. It's not as strict as it used to be, certainly, but it's definitely going to ask a bit more for your longer sequence combos, you know. Got to then play Hunter, Nen Impact. Not for as long. So I got some footage of Garo coming, and we'll upload that as well. The Hunter game, I just got in like we did like a quick set, honestly. And like, yeah, Aiding knows how to make a Marvel style game. They know it's got the speed, it's got the disgusting mix-ups, it's got the the quick incoming like shit that you expect, and a lot of that is all very recognizable. What is surprising, I didn't realize, was there was a special button for easy specials as well in that game. I didn't know. I thought there was going to be like motions or so, but you just got your like like you have like tilts on a special for everything in that. What's the grin? What's the grin about?
Dude, that roster sucks. that roster sucks.
We'll see what they launch with.
That is a bad. The launch roster is out.
Is that so? The last announcement of the bug character is it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm looking at a photo of the launch roster right now.
But it said that's final, or is that just who's in it? Okay, all right. I didn't know that was. I didn't hear that was the case. I thought they were still announcing everybody. Okay.
Here's your launch roster.
I can only speak to what I know, I suppose, of the series, which is it's not everybody that people would want to see in it.
That is a bad roster. Straight up.
And the question is like with the budget it had, will they have the money to add all the people that people do want to see? You know.
The problem is that there's a lot of those. Like
so is
the two that come to mind is Knuckle and Pito aren't there.
So this is where I wonder, like, is it that 16 is never enough, or is it that a better 16 could have been picked?
So So they're pulling from certain arcs. They're pulling all the way to the end of Chimera Ant, right? And Greed Island. So if they wanted to do, like, you remember the Naruto games,
I was waiting to bring that up,
where they would associate
Yes.
like the seasons, and they would go, here's
Great-
everybody that you would matter from the first 2 seasons.
Great Ninja Clash 1 was just Rock Lee was the last character on that roster because he got announced right before they walked into the exams. That's it.
Right.
Part 2 was the exam characters, so it's literally the teams as they get introduced. So the roster reflects who's being introduced in what seasons of the actual show.
Yeah. So they're covering just a massive amount of arcs, and as a result, there are huge fucking gaps out of all of them. Just massive fucking gaps. The fucking, what is it called? The Phantom Troop? Is
the entirety of the Phantom Troop
is missing.
Yeah, so
like right off the bat, you're gonna do the York New City arc. Okay, you have 13 characters required.
Yeah, so
right there.
So that sounds like there was no way 16 would ever be enough.
It's no, like nah. It would never be enough.
And I think as well, given the what we see of, like, again, the animation and stuff being like, it's no Strive, it's far behind. This looks like a last gen fighter of sorts. What you got to was even, it probably stretched what they had the resources for to get to that 16.
Absolutely.
So okay, so the numbers were just, there was no way to make those numbers work with this particular IP in any way that people would have been happy with. Do you think if it was all first season into exam characters, that would chronologically be accepted as well?
No. Because people would be like, where's Meruem? Which is the guy who looks like Cell.
And the answer would be, well, we'll get there.
Well, we'll get to him later. And then people will go, no, now.
Okay.
it's
yeah, I hear that.
It's like a massive fucking roster of characters that you'd want to see in a fighting game. So like for every character that's like an absolute must put, like Gon or Killua or whatever, must be there. There are like 4 characters that are going to be missing. And you're like, oh.
So I think part of this too that is like always going to be impossible to solve is the fact that like I forget what the English one was, but Gekito Ninja Taisen, the
I don't know that. I don't.
Great Ninja War. I think the Great Ninja War games or Great Ninja Clash, right? They were the GameCube Naruto fighters that we were just talking about. They were being released while the series wasn't done yet, and they were putting out what they knew of characters up to a certain point. So even when like Itachi showed up as he was playable in, I want to say like
he had like a really basic moveset because he hadn't done anything.
Exactly. So Itachi was playable in the second game, but all he did was stand there with his hand sticking out of his jacket, and he did a little single hand gestures and then his big genjutsu, which crossified you, right? And that was it. You barely got the full version of the character that you know. So it's all going according to the plan of how the seasons are being released. Hunter x Hunter is coming years after the thing is done, so there is no chronological bit.
Yeah, the Boo saga is over.
There's nothing that hasn't been written yet and such, and so you're kind of picking like, okay, you're coming back on this in full retrospective. How do you approach it? And yeah, I think it's like the given what we heard, right? The rumor is that the budget was it like 6 or it was extremely low. I forget the exact number, but it was extremely low. The 500K or something like that. It could have made 8 characters that look pretty good, or 16 that look the way they look right now. Or
they should have made 52 that look like dog
shit. That's where I'm going. Yeah,
they should have made like 50 that look like trash.
Oh man, like no voice acting. barely
Absolutely.
barely
100%.
copied move lists that just mirror from one character to the other. A unique super for everybody is the only thing you're getting. Jesus Christ. Um yeah, okay, so there was just no winning with what it was from the jump then. Either way, what I do have to say is playing it, it's a fun 3v3 fighter. And it's fast paced, and again it has like there's a lot of potential for hype and dirty shit in a similar way to how Battle for the Grid with Power Rangers was, which is, that's another game where, hey, you've got multiple seasons of multiple Rangers and multiple villains, and they grabbed the group that they grabbed, but there was always potential for infinite, because for every Ranger you grab, there's like 5 others you're not, and then more for the extra 6th, and then the final boss or whatever. But one thing that was very odd about the game, and I felt it from just those very brief games we played, is the characters are small and short, so they're stubby. And
there's a lot of kids on that roster.
A lot of kids, and the kids feel like you're using kids. So like Gon's little, is just a little, and you can, you're not really, it feels as stubby as it looks, which is, wild when you're thinking about like some other games where like I can stand back here with my Vanguard in DNF Duel and press my jab, and you're getting touched by it. So, there's the big characters as well and stuff, and they're at that size. But the whole camera zooms out in such a way where for the big characters to all be normal sized, the small characters look extra tiny. And if you're not kind of doing all that crazy air dashing movement and getting in constantly with Gon and Killua and stuff, like you're barely touching, There were points where I rushed up to Reggie or vice versa, and I thought I was in, and like waited for him to get up, and he got up like just outside of my jab range, and it felt like, oh fuck, every button is fucking Nikali buttons, just flailing with dinosaur arms a little bit. So yeah, Kid Goku is the other comparison point, right?
Yeah.
I think but yeah, we'll more than that though, I'm curious to see what the full version of the game is going to look like, with the whole like, are you going to go full on touch of death and then characters melt immediately, because X Factor is there, and when you activate it in the same way, and you get that like instant pop, and then, oh fuck, I touched you, happy birthday, die. So
the actual show / manga has a lot of touch of death.
Okay.
A lot of like, I'm doing my stupid bullshit, I got you.
Yeah, I mean that's Killua's bit, right? Like, I'm a fucking kill you in a lot of cases, So yeah.
Well, I mean, he just loves murder.
I mean, he was raised. What are you gonna do? But
I can't believe that bomb loser got in. That is You know what? I'm gonna make this like franchise agnostic. I think 3-on-3 with a roster of 16 is way too small. I think putting more than a third of the roster into each match is fucking crazy.
Yeah, like you're gonna get used to them very quickly, and you're correct. Skullgirls had that initial feeling, and with the launch roster,
and then it passed as it got up there.
Not only that, but what really helped. So one, it got better as they released a lot of extra characters off the base roster. But then second, you didn't have to play 3 characters every time, right? Having 1 or 2 felt and made a big difference in how those matches felt and played out. 1 big heavy with no assists was a different experience from
I'm going
3
1 big
ones.
band, excuse me.
And that was a much more tangible change than, because CVS, for example, had the ratios. And CVS2, you'd pick, okay, ratio 4 Maru and stuff. But like Skullgirls having tagging and assists means that the team means more than just how hard I hit you and how hard I get hit. So that allowed the game to feel like it had more going on with a small roster. But I still remember that launch window where it was like, oh man, yeah, I've seen all these characters almost every match very quickly. And people who are playing the best characters are going to play the same four out of the six, you're going to see the same four a lot, you know. So
Yeah.
it is a problem that if you don't design around that, you're gonna hit that wall very hard. I can only imagine taking on this kind of IP and doing so on the budget that they did. There's a hope that, hey, fans grab it and there's enough support that they can start getting seasons going and then expand that slowly, because it feels like an IP, like if you're grabbing an anime that is full of characters, you probably are thinking, if not like um who are the license holders for Hunter x Hunter? I don't know.
Oh, who the fuck knows?
Whatever.
I don't know.
Whatever the case is, I don't know if it's like Shueisha or whatever, but like they're probably thinking about it like, hey, look, yeah, all these Dragon Ball games that can just release seasons and seasons of stuff, you know, like we should be able to do that as well, but do so without getting the same amount of money that we give one of those games. Viz, yeah. Okay, yeah. Power Rangers, you feel that roster on launch, you know, a lot more than other games do. That's the real issue. But I will say this, like, touch it, see if you have some fun with it, play it, you know what I mean? Like, favorites aside, like, it's got sauce.
I'm kind of surprised Leorio made it in.
But he's one of the main three in that group and then
I don't think he has even a single fight in the entirety of the arcs they're
okay
pulling from.
As somebody who's at the beginning of the show, like Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio are the crew.
But like, okay, you remember the Itachi problem we were just talking about? I don't know what Leorio fucking does. I literally don't even know.
I assumed that I would find out later, you know. But yeah, okay, well,
it's called Nen Impact.
Yeah.
Let me spoil the manga for myself in the future by. Oh, I can't even find match footage.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna stop looking over here as people scroll with what he should or shouldn't be doing. Yeah. But yeah, either way. I'm like, hey, it's the characters in all the promotional material for this franchise. I'm assuming they're all going to be playable. It would be insane. If he wasn't, I think the conversation would be way more insane and weird. I think this conversation would be, how the fuck is he not playable when he's one of the main characters that is up there front with everybody on all the things? So yeah, no, in an inverted way, this would be even more weird.
Oh man, they totally expanded like a single panel into his entire moveset.
Well,
it's really funny.
Do you remember when Sakura had to get a moveset early on in those games? Later, now you make a Sakura character and you get to have her doing a bunch of Tsunade shit with the healing and the punches and so on.
Yeah.
Early on in, you look at the Cyber Connect game or the GameCube game, and Inner Sakura doing stand shit is the only way to go, because she cuts her hair and she does a kunai toss, but then everything else is like so yeah,
Sakura it sucked so bad.
Inner Sakura was literally her entire moveset for those games, you know. Shanara! And then she goes, and then you're really like, and people are getting actually beat up because she has a stand. You know. So yeah, if they do that with Leorio, I've seen this before. It wouldn't be the first time. Whatever. So yeah, that's that game. And we will have this discussion again once it drops, and it is what it is.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. It's impossible to know.
If it's fun to play, though, you know, give it a crack. But,
no.
Okay, well, I'm talking to the world. Like, that can go past you. That's okay.
No. Only me.
And then the other thing I'd like to shout out is Dojo Masters is a fucking awesome indie fighter that we sat down and played, and very similar in its initial look and approach to Arcus Chroma, which is the GX Grain Sun fighter that with like no jumping that we played before, and big fan of that. So Dojo Masters, pixel characters that are no jumps, just very grounded, and you got to play footsies, you got to move back and forth. They have their move list, and the game. So, but that's pretty much where the similarities end, because what's happening in like this case is like each character is like, a lot of games will say things or will do things like, hey, each character feels unique as if they're from their own game, right? That's a thing that we'll say about Guilty Gear, where it's like, oh shit, like
we say that about Guilty Gear every single time we talk about it,
because everyone's got their own system. Nago Ryuki's running this blood system. Happy Chaos has got his bullets and concentration. What the fuck's going on?
Blood system, that's crazy.
And everyone has their own unique shit going on, but they're sharing the bones there, right? This game really takes that to the next level, where it's like, no. They really have their own shit going on, because so you have like a boxer, Muay Thai, Shotokan karate. Like, you have like 6 or so characters that are all, their names are just the style of the martial art they're doing, and punch, kick, and then like you punch and kick, and that's it actually. And then everything you're doing is based,
that's it.
Yeah, punch button, kick button, and directions, and then everything you're inputting is based on just those two. But like, what gets really unique is, one, you don't have life bars. You get knockdowns, and you can, when someone is at their stamina is all the way at 0, you then can like finish them off essentially. So it's like a point system, not too like, almost like old Fighter's Destiny back on the N64, where you kind of had these like different knockdowns that you could, if you land on your back and you have no life left, that's the end of the round. However, if you tech, you get back up. So failing to tech is almost like
that's fucking fascinating,
right? You have these really tight exchanges where it's like, then there's untechable things, of course, but if you just land a solid hit, and they go flying backwards, and they should be dying, they roll back out, and like the fight keeps going. The uniqueness of it is not just like, okay, some characters have counters, some don't, some have grabs, some don't, right? Some have armor and things like that, and some don't. A character like Boxer, the game does not have counter hits in it, but when Boxer is on the screen, counter hits exist for both characters.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's extreme.
Extreme. That's what I mean. Only.
Does it exist for both players?
Yes.
Oh, that's crazy.
When Boxer is on the screen, the game now has counter hits for both characters. When he's not, they're not there. That's really bananas. It's cool. It's really cool. And between the stamina bit and like everyone's got like a special move. And it usually is like a knockdown move, and it in some cases has like really tight input as well. But you can do it as much as you want, but it takes a lot, and you got to be on point to do it. So like whenever you see someone pull one off, it's like, oh fuck, you did the whole thing, and you hit it in your inputs and did it, landed it, good shit. That took work. The end results are just kind of like this insane fast footsie game of just left, right, knocking up and down. Like, it's just fun, man. You have characters that are getting in there with Krav Maga that like have to predict whether you're going to throw a punch or a kick at them, which again, it's a 2-button game. And then if they counter the right way, they get a hit, and then they build up like a move. They build up their like this little meter that gets them better and better specials essentially. When they use a special, they go down to like the level before, and you're kind of just each one's got this whole little unique thing going on to it, man, and it's a lot of fun. It's extremely fast, and playing games against the creator as well, with a boxer versus boxer match, and then some of the others, like you can see just like this is gonna be mad hype to watch sets of. It's called Dojo Masters once again. The Shotokan karate character, everyone you pick, you can kind of just like do a quick dress up on, and basically you're seeing a Makoto who's got insane rush punch from across the screen that you can charge up, a dash, a grab, and that grab can lead to like a knockdown or like a side switch, and all these it's just a really great fun thing, and we're gonna pop that on for again to fighting games soon.
Oh, this looks super charming.
Yeah, it's out right now, but check it out, man. It's one of the most hyped things. Like it was one of those bits where I sit down at a couple games and I always go like, okay, what's going on with this? And here I walked over and I remember wishlisting it on Steam a while ago, and then the creator was just like, you're finally here, and I was like, oh shit, okay, what's up? Let's see it. What do you got? We sit down, ran some matches, me and Reggie played, and then it was like, okay, getting a feel for it. And then I saw some real matches. I was like, oh fuck, I see what we were missing. And then at max speed when the game is going, like people screaming, popping off, it's very exciting. So yeah, Dojo Masters, real hype. I'm gonna do an episode on that real soon. That's pretty much me. This week is gonna be pretty busy. I got a lot going on that I'm catching up with, but the plan right now. I did a podcast last week, Tears of a Clown, over on the Last Podcast Network. So that stream went out, and I imagine the episode will go out on the Last Podcast on the Left channel at some point. A whole lot of fun over there with the guys from Whizbrew. So go check that out as well. We ranked superhero powers, is what it was. There is a literal clown in the show that is there as well. I have been assured it was not a gift, but literally a clown.
What is the clown's name?
Tirzo the clown.
Okay. That's creepy. I don't like that.
Well,
I don't like clowns.
Yeah, a lot of kids don't either, but for some reason we keep shoving them at children. I don't know what the deal is.
Dude, I remember. Oh, I saw clowns at the circus and I freaked my shit. I was so upset. I hated it.
Clowns are terrifying, but then there's some good clowns. Bouncy clowns are pretty good. I like those clowns.
I like Homie. Homie is my favorite clown.
Are you gonna say it, or am I gonna? Do we have to?
I'm not gonna say it.
I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's great.
Anyway, I probably gonna see if we can get in a session of Elden Ring or so on Friday, because I'm gonna have a busy week up until then. Last time I touched it, saw a motherfucker called Dryleaf Dane.
That dude's cool.
He's cool. Got a dry leaf set, or glove, or whatever.
Yeah, the glove one. Yeah.
Yo.
Do you want to know something about that weapon set?
Is it that the special that you get with it is ridiculous?
No, that's not it.
Okay.
Is that if you really, really like that one, there is an alternate version that is more kicks.
Oh, they actually did that. Wow. 2 martial arts things. Sick. The one that, this one is I like punching, so I'm probably good, but I definitely want to see, because switching between the two as well as like a style switch thing must be dope.
I ran this for a while where I put bleed on the fist and I put it in my left hand, and I had the biggest thing I could swing in my right hand. And so anytime I needed to just do a shit ton of wide damage, I swung my right hand, and anytime I needed to go back, get the fuck off me, I'd pop them with my left, and it worked really well. I ran like multiple streams like that.
My instinct was to put the cold back on and step and combo people.
Oh yeah, no, any status on that.
But the default palm strike that it comes with is really fucking good, because the super armor means if you can take the hit that's coming at you, it doesn't matter, knock that fucker away, and the palm blast knocks them on their ass. Big enemies are getting knocked on their ass, just poise broken, and then you can time it so that as soon as they get back up, you knock them on their ass again. OTG, like not even OTG, Oki, couple fucking enemies that were lighter just, don't exist, and enemies that are heavier, whatever, bosses potentially, it was wild. So,
yeah, that DLC has a lot, like a huge proportion of stuff where you're like, oh, this is the best version of this thing that exists in the game right now.
So, I'm while I would be inclined to get my cold step back in there, I think for the sake of, enjoying variety and new shit, since I played most of my game skates and fists. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the fist for now. The palm blast for now. Dry leaf arts is rad, man. I love it. But of course, it also means it's like, hey, like you're gonna have a hard time fucking up
What?
a ghost flame dragon with a bunch of assholes shooting at it that are also all trying to attack you in a three-way battle. If you're running up to the dragon trying to punch its ankles.
The way you speak and the intonation of your voice, I legitimately got confused, and because you said the dry leaf farts.
Correct. Yes. Dry leaf arts. The Jump R2 one is particularly nice.
Fart.
Um,
Fuck. All right.
Yeah, when you when you fight that enemy where it's like, hey, lock onto his back, it like running around without lock on was actually like harder than just doing jump kick there. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna rock that for a minute.
That thing's really good. You could probably rock that for a while.
And went down to the meat pot dungeon.
Oh, you finally saw the meat pots.
The warrior jars are awesome. Just don't ask what's inside.
Yeah, no, that's like awful. That's very, very bad. I don't like it. That's a lot of body horror.
We kind of knew, you know, but
yeah, but you did. But seeing it is different.
Yeah, well, the thing is I just thought you were a congealed puddle of goo. I didn't think it was like, oh no, wait, you actually take form.
And out of multiple different pieces, and it's just.
Remember the really, really big one?
Yeah.
Think about
there's
it.
There's a lot of goo in there.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get another sesh, and gonna wait for confirmation, but yeah, of course, Chirithi is gonna pop over. I'm gonna have him on, and we're gonna fucking
friend of the show.
I'm gonna do it. So yeah, we'll let you guys know. I'll post once I have confirmation, I'll post that up on my Twitter. So there, WoolieVersus on YouTube, WoolieVersus on Twitch, Woolie Wolves on Twitter. EVO was fun. I mean, of course it was.
Yeah.